Hello Hanji Kidda, what's up peeps? Back with another video, and today we're reviewing Ipswich v Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Before we get into anything though, you know we gotta do the shout outs. Massive shout outs to Angel Care Homes for all your care needs in the Black Country and Birmingham area. Massive shout outs to Mark Darcy for all your formal menswear needs. And of course the Desi Ballers, highlighting all South Asians at all levels in the beautiful game. I'll put their details in the description. Make sure you check them out. And if you're brand new here, or if you ain't already, make sure you hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and turn the notifications on. Now let's get to it. It's finished Tottenham Hotspur 1, Ipswich Town 2. Town have got their first win in the Premier League this season. First win in the Premier League in 22 years, technically. You know, last time we were in the Prem was in 2002, and last time we got a win was in April of 2002 against Middlesbrough. That was at home. I think that was under the lights. I'm pretty sure it was a Wednesday night. It might have been a Tuesday night, but it was definitely a midweek game under the lights. And a little known academy striker coming through the ranks that season called Darren Bent comes off the bench, and I think with his first touch he loses Paul Ince. I'm pretty sure it's Paul Ince, but he loses Paul Ince at the back post. It comes off his thigh and into the back of the net. He gets his first Premier League goal. Not his first goal. Can you tell me when Benty did score his first goal for Town? And when did he make his debut? Put the answers in the comments. Yeah, the stadium, it's again like these London stadiums, because they're built up in like built up areas. You've obviously got like flats or businesses and stuff, so you literally have to go around the houses or through Sainsbury's to get from one end to the other or whatever. So you can't really appreciate the stadium from the outside. Certainly I couldn't anyway. You know, maybe there's a better view from different places or approaches or whatever. But so like you'll have, you know, upper, lower, middle tiers or whatever. But when the fans, like the away fans, are in different tiers, and I think about like Man City as well, um, those tiers have their own concourses and their own entrances, and they're segregated, so you can't really get together. Whereas here, you know, the stairs, you know, you had one entrance to get in basically, and then if you were in, I think so anyway, I could be wrong, but there were stairs above us, and then like you could, if you were going to the upper tier, you could use those stairs, but you could come down to the lower concourse. So it was just good. It was accessible, if that makes sense. You know, all the fans could be together, which is it's the party away day, isn't it? It's like, you know, you see the same people, the same faces that you've seen, you know, at Accrington years ago, or Barrow. Do you remember Barrow, that trip up there? You know, you see the same faces now at like Tottenham Hotspur away, and you know, but yeah, so that was like that was a nice touch, if you like, or a thoughtful thing, if that makes sense. Like they've really put thought into the process and of an away day almost. So that added to the away day experience, if you like. The beer stuff, you know, I because I'm driving, I never have a drink when I'm there or whatever. Um, and then so we got there, and obviously a few of the guys getting pints or whatever. They got that like thing where they fill the pint up. You'd have seen the, if you hadn't seen the vlog, it's on the vlog at the beginning. But they obviously put the pint on this thing and it just fills it up from underneath. Um, Bit of a thing, because it's not like you take away the cup. So what they do is they fill the pint up like that, and then they pour that into a next cup. Because obviously these are special cups or whatever. I don't know how much the beer was. I don't know if anyone watching this that was at the game. Maybe you can put it in the comments how much the beer was. But maybe that brought the price down on a beer. But anyway, yeah, so the concourse all nice. They even had this nice touch, you know, like sometimes they have digital boards. Here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they had like a, and again, it's on the vlog. I had to just get a little capture of it to really appreciate it. But it was a proper full, I don't know if you call it like a poster or something, but it was just, you know, thank you Ipswich for fans for travelling X amount of miles or whatever, with the big logo and everything. So a bit more of a personal touch, a bit, I mean, the seats and all the rest of it, it's all got the standing stuff, safe standing. So I think that's a bonus, because yes, I stand at all the games anyway, and it suits me to stand. Some people can't or whatever, and obviously some people have got, you know, young children or whatever. So at least they can maybe stand on the chairs or whatever, or sit down, or whatever suits them as well. So again, accommodating, spacious as well, but really good view of the stadium. And they got these really large monitors, 4 large monitors in each corner. So I guess everywhere in the stadium you can see a screen. But yeah, man, really, really nice stadium. And as much as I hate London, as much as I hate going there, hopefully, and I think we will be in the Premier League next season. I'll be doing the Tottenham away day again next season, I think. So in terms of the game itself, there was a slight shift in personnel and a bit in formation. So we seen Axel was back, Tuanzebe was back, and Ben Johnson had come in for Chaplin, which meant Amari now moved back into the 10. Although it wasn't the 4-2-3-1 that we'd seen throughout the season. It was more of a kind of a 5-2-2-1, if that makes sense, with Leaf and Ben Johnson playing wing back roles, and then obviously Schmodix, Hutchinson splitting just behind Delap. But Tottenham started off brighter. Son was getting at us, but he wasn't really able to hurt us. He was having a few shots, and as you'd expect from a player of Son's quality, they're gonna test your keeper, they're gonna test your defenders, and all the rest of it. But again, I think with Axel and Ben Johnson, they were able to double up on him, and that did restrict him from what he'd maybe be able to do. There were a few bright instances where he's broke down the wing, and he's maybe played a ball and he's rushed it maybe, or there isn't the right timing or the link up between him and the strikers, and the ball's just gone behind that striker or whatever. And I think it's him who plays the ball in for Brennan Johnson. I think it was Brennan Johnson. Like in the first 2 minutes maybe. A ball comes over the top. It's caught. It's a brilliant ball, and it's a brilliant movement from Johnson. I think it was Johnson. And as the ball, it lands on his foot, and he's just got to guide it goalwards, and he just puts it wide past Murich's right post. So looking back, maybe that was a sign of things to come. Really, that again they weren't going to take those opportunities, just like we hadn't in previous games. I said before, it's going to be about taking those opportunities, and that's what we did. So a couple of minutes later, Sammy Schmodix is through, and he has a lovely bit of footwork, and he gets himself into a one-on-one position, but it is at a very tight angle. So all he can go, the only option he really can do is kind of nutmeg the keeper, and the keeper stands tall and makes a save, and we get a corner. So you're thinking, okay, Schmodix is on it today, the Schmodigy, and he was that was a sign of things to come as well, that we weren't going to just sit back. We were going to attack and take the game to Tottenham where we could. And then from that corner, again, we're getting close with these set-piece goals, but that corner comes in, and I'm pretty sure it's O'Shea, and he heads it. He finds himself in some space, pulls away from his man, and he ends up heading it wide, but only inches wide, or it looked inches wide. So you're thinking, okay, cool, we're knocking on the door here. And then I think Davis, again, breaking down the wing, he has a shot which I think gets deflected and goes out for a corner. From that corner, Burgess peels away at the back post, and he kind of has like a bit of a looping header, a really nice header, and it just crashes onto the bar, like on the top part of the bar, and then goes away. And they obviously clear their lines. But you're thinking, okay, we're now having some proper chances here. We're actually, not only are we here, but we're in this to compete, like I thought and hoped we would. And then the breakthrough moment, and what a goal that is. Ball in, I think, ends up with Karius on the wing, and he whips the ball in, and it's a bit of I guess you could say it's a bit of fortune, in terms of, they haven't really defended their line. I thought maybe they, I don't want to be harsh on the Tottenham players. I can't remember who it was, but there are two defenders there, or it might not have been a defender, but there were two Tottenham players there that they just didn't look like they didn't want the ball. So they were just happy to let it bounce. And then Schmodix with a lovely little overhead kick, a little throwback to 2001, to Finidi George with his overhead kick as well. So although Finidi's was a bit of a higher overhead kick than the height that this one was, but you know, you got to take your chances. Ball's obviously come behind Sammy, and he's adjusted his body and got something on it and beaten the keeper. And fair play, we're buzzing. Like I was hesitant because I was like, well, no, surely like are they going to say it's offside, or they're going to say it's a free kick, or what's going on here? Because I couldn't understand why the Tottenham players had kind of stopped and not really gone in for the ball. But it was 1-0, man, and we were buzzing and we're thinking, okay, cool. We've got something now. Now let's try and defend that. And as I would have expected us to try and see out that half, because that was about the 30th minute, I think. So you're thinking, okay, see out that half, see what we can do. And then Tottenham, they started attacking us and they had a few good chances. But again, shots from distance. Everything that Tottenham were doing is they was trying to then go down the wing and cross it in. But Muric was just catching everything. And I'll get into player ratings in a bit on some detail on that. But yeah, he caught absolutely everything. So they had no joy. So it was just like, all right, carry on what you're doing. And then the shots they were having, if they were getting through to Muric, he was saving them anyway. So, we were looking solid, and you're thinking, okay, we can get to half time 1-0 up, because again, Brentford, we'd gone 2-0 up at Brentford, and then within quick succession at half time it was 2-2. But we had other ideas, so we said, you know what, we're not going to go in half time at 1-0, we're going to go in at 2-0. And beautiful play from Amari. And again, I'll get into player ratings because he was phenomenal. Starboy was back on it. But yeah, Amari, he's in the middle, he's getting hacked down, and he just shrugs the player off him. I don't know which Tottenham player it was, but he just shrugged him off. And then, like, even the referee, he's waved play on, so he's acknowledged it's a foul. And then he's worked the ball out, it's got out to Davis. Davis does what Davis does, and he fires it in across, and it confuses. I think the keeper kind of palms it onto the defender, and then the defender kind of like sticks a leg out, and it's going goalwards. Probably would have gone in as an own goal, but the form that the lap's in, he's going to make sure he's on it. I've said time and time again, and I'll talk about him in a bit, but I've said he will be not just the next Harry Kane, but he'll be the better Harry Kane. So then second half, you're thinking, okay, look, I know some of the Villa fans that went to the Villa game the week before and said, look, we battered them, as in Villa battered them in the first half, but second half Spurs come out and just were a different beast. And I said it in my preview, apart from City, no other team has gained more points from a losing position over the last 2 seasons. So you know that the second half is going to be tough. And I was saying to a few of the guys, look, we just got to get to 60 minutes, get to 60, 65 minutes. And then we can start making those subs, going into a bit more of a defensive shape. What you don't want to do is go too defensive too soon. But anyway, we had to weather that storm, and credit to Spurs, they were on it. I don't know what Postecoglou said, but they looked really up for it, and they have some good chances. Muric would make some big saves, tipping over the bar and stuff like that. And then they get a goal. I always said I like VAR, didn't I? But I don't know what Ashton said to Howard Webb, but it worked. I haven't seen the replay back, so I am going to watch it later. But from what I've heard, it was the right decision because I think it's hit Solanke's chest or head or leg. I don't know. It's hit a part of Solanke, might be leg, chest, or whatever. And then it's hit his hand, and his hand has then directed it goalwards. So it's not like it's going past. It's like the hand has directed the ball that way. So I don't know, Tottenham fans, if you're watching this, I'd be intrigued to know your thoughts. Do you feel that was a fair decision, or did VAR rob you? But yeah, so you're thinking, okay, cool. Maybe it's going to be our day. Maybe we're going to get that first win. Last team in the 92 to do it. Will it be today? But then you're thinking that about, I thought that last week against Leicester. And then, right at the end, at the death, they get an equaliser. So you're just like, okay, we've just got to defend well, carry on what we're doing, and hit them on the counter. But then, just as we're about to make the substitutions, like 65, 70th minute around that time, that Bentaker, I think it's Bentaker, that's how you say his name, Sorry if I got that wrong, but he loses his man it looked like the near post, and good header, good header, beats the keeper. Keeper can't really do anything, and then it got a bit nervy. But that away end, talked about it many times before. I remember getting trolled on it by Twitter by certain fans back in the day as well, but about the importance of being that 12th man. And certainly, over the last 2 or 3 seasons, it's been abundantly clear that we are that 12th man. And just when that players needed that lift, we again got behind the team, all the rest of it. And we looked I wouldn't say in control, because obviously Tottenham were on the front foot. They were looking for that goal. But again, they were just going down the wing, and it was catching practice for Muric. So weren't really threatening. And you're thinking, cool. There was a shout that they had, I think, on a handball. I've not seen that back properly, but again, from what I've heard from people that have seen the footage, they said it wasn't it wasn't like a handball. So I don't know. But then, yeah, that 12th man really stepped up, and we backed that team, and that resonated to the players on the pitch, because I think that gave them a little bit of a bounce in their step, or a little bit of something that they could do, run that extra 5-10 yards or whatever. And then the substitutions come on, and I'll get onto player ratings and all the rest of it. But the subs, there was no drop off, so the subs come on, and we still stuck to the same game plan. It was continue as is. But we then started stepping up the pitch a bit more. So normally, and this is not just Town, but most teams that are playing, like playing, defending a lead or whatever, they're gonna drop back, and as the half goes on, you see that the strikers almost halfway between the halfway line and the box, and the midfielders are on the edge of the box and or towards the edge of the box or whatever. So everyone's dropped back. But we then it looked, and I could be wrong, but just from what I was seeing, it looked like we kind of stepped up another 10, 15, 20 yards. So we didn't drop back too much. And we were able to push a bit more forward, which then, when we were, making those technical fouls or trying something that we may not win and lose possession or whatever, it wasn't going to hurt us. So in terms of like tacticians and tactical management, and I've talked about game management, about McKenna and all the rest of it, but that's where he really earned his coin yesterday, because the way he managed that game, the little tactical breaks, the little bits of information to players to then, say, look, we just need to get a bit higher, just press them there, do these things. And it worked to a T. But it was almost heartbreak. And although, we wouldn't have lost the game, Solanke gets, and it's a bit of a mistake, I think. I don't know what happened. I think Burgess kind of clears it, and it bounces off someone, or bounces off Burgess, and goes back towards Muric. But Solanke gets in and has a bit of a one-on-one. Again, tight angle, very much similar to how Sami Szmodic had it against their keeper in the first half. And again, same result. Keeper saved it. Big save. That was cheered as loud as the first and second goals. And then that final whistle goes, and that feeling, the rest of the fans in there, and just any town fan that's watching it, not even if you were there. I mean, if you was there, yeah, there is a bit of something, being there at that moment. But just the feeling as a town fan when that whistle went, and you were like, we finally got the win we needed. Not only that, is we've beaten a big team. We were genuinely value for the win yesterday. Like, there isn't a Tottenham fan that can tell me we didn't deserve that. We're out of the relegation zone. I think we're now 2 points off Leicester and Everton, and 4 points off West Ham, and maybe 4 points off United. No, probably not now, because United beat Leicester, didn't they? But we're 4 points off where I predicted at the beginning of the season, which was top 14. And as long as we perform like we have done, in games we've performed brilliantly defensively. Think about Brighton. Defensively we were brilliant. We had that good chance with Delap, obviously, where he hits the post. But as a team, as individuals as well, like we had a really good defensive game. And then games like Villa, you think, okay, we had a really good attacking game. We really took the game to them, really got something out of them. But yesterday We did it on both sides. We defended really well and we attacked really well. But yeah, we showed what we're about, and that's all we can ask. The performance was brilliant. All I've said before is we've got to perform. Let's perform, and we'll turn a corner, and the result will come. I said before, McKenna talks, and he's talked about it many a seasons, right? I don't know if he said it so much this season, but definitely last season and season before, he's talked about building the foundations before Christmas, right? And then that kind of Christmas period, December onwards, is where those foundations now kind of, come into fruition or whatever we want to say from there. And that's what was happening. Like I said, we'd showed we can attack because once upon a time there were certain town fans saying we're never going to score a goal. Do you know what I mean? And now scoring hasn't looked like a problem for us, and then we look like we can't defend. But then we've shown and yes, I know we've only got one clean sheet of the season, but we have defended well in games. So as a town fan, we're just cloud 9, 10, 11, whatever you want to call it, we're up there, man. So let's get to some player ratings then. Muric, one of his best performances, if not his best performance in the town shirt. Had a lot of critics over the past few weeks, certainly, since obviously the Brentford game, and there's been some questions about his ability and is he the right number one. I think he answered all critics yesterday. Really, really good performance. Caught everything, just really controlled and commanded that box. So yeah, solid performance from him, and for me, a contender for man of the match. Davis. So again, I've talked about it before. His defensive work has got so much better over the last couple of seasons, and he was solid yesterday. But he was up and down that wing, man, like Norwich used to be between the Premier League and Championship. But yeah, he was really, really on it. It was a lovely part I think it's in the first half where I can't remember who the fullback or the winger he was against, and he's cut inside, Leafs tracked his run, gone inside, and then he's kind of stopped the shot in the box, and then he just got used his quick feet, got away, and then he skipped past one, skipped past two, gets fouled in the process, and referee calls it back or whatever. So, and Tuchel, I don't know what you're watching, mate, but you need to get Leif Davis in the team. You need to come down to Portman Road. Davis scores a phenomenal goal last week, phenomenal performance yesterday. What more does Leif Davis have to do to get into that England team? There isn't a better English left back than Leif Davis. Cam Burgess really stepped up and filled those boots left by Jacob Greaves. We know how good he is. We've seen him do bits in League One. We've seen him step up to the Championship and do bits. God, that goal at Coventry will always be in our memory, right? And yesterday, just again, wins things in the air. Really, blocks things, kicks things. Like, it's got to be tough playing against Cam Burgess. And most people will say, okay, big, tall centre back, kick it, head it type of player. But he offers so much more than that as well. He reads the game quite well. He's quite intelligent reader of the game, and his passing, like, he can find a pass. He is a very good passer of the ball. Dara O'Shea, as I've said before, man, he's made me do a 180. Is it 180 or 360? No, it'd be a 180 because if it's 360, I'd be facing the same way. But yeah, he's made me do a 180. On my opinion and what I thought of him, because and that was purely down to my ignorance, because I didn't know much about Dara O'Shea. I just associated Burnley, seen some clips on YouTube and thought, okay. But I tell you what, he's a quality defender, and 8 million looks like a bit of a steal. Not only can he defend, tackling, heading and all the rest of it, he can recover. The pace on the lad, I didn't realise how quick he was until, the last couple of weeks, and really like seeing how quick he can, recovery runs or whatever you want to call them. And his passing, his range of passing is phenomenal. Tuanzebe, how good was it to see him back? We realise how much we missed him. And again, this ain't no disrespect to Harry Clark or Johnson, or even for that matter, but we talk about Premier League experience, we talk about solidness, we talk about, a fullback role. Remember, he's a centre back, and he's played really well, right? Like he's a centre back that is our best right back, which is mad. Um, but him in that kind of, and we played that right centre back role really suited him. And if you look at his ground duels and aerial duels, he won all of them. So like you literally couldn't get past him. Getting forward, he offers so much more than just defending. Ben Johnson, I said last week he was my man of the match. I called him Ben Carfu Johnson. He was that good. But yesterday he was again solid, and he's shown that. Like he's shown last week isn't a one-off. Last week is I've settled in now. You know, getting used to a new team. We've talked about that gelling period and all the rest of it. And like it or not, 12 new players do take a while to settle in. But he's settled in and he's shown what a solid player he is. So yeah, credit to Ben Johnson. You know, really stepped up and really showed his value and what quality he has, not just defending but on the ball as well. Jens Kajust, probably his best performance in the town top. And to be honest, because there were so many great performances, like there's three players that I've picked out for man of the match, and he just missed out on it. But he was brilliant. That first half in particular, you talk about getting forward, breaking lines, and then also being able to cover and just the cohesion between him and Sam seems really good in terms of you go, I'll cover. So really, really solid performance from him, and he's looking again like a really good signing. Sammy Morsey, again, he just never has a bad game. I talk about, people from the outside looking in that have never seen Sam Morsey and will just see his profile on a piece of paper will think bit of an enforcer, wins the ball, bit dogged and stuff like that. And yes, he's all of those things, but he's so much more than those things. And there was a few Tottenham fans I was speaking to after the game who were like, I wasn't expecting that from him, in terms of turning on a diamond. I talked about it before, the man turns on a diamond. And that's what he can do. He can spin away from players. He brushes players off like they're nothing. And again, it's another game that he's gone without a yellow card. He has got to walk that tightrope, and that tightrope is game week 19, which would be at home to Chelsea on the 30th of December. So he's got to go through between now and then, including that game, without a yellow card. But yeah, tough ask, but we've seen Sammy do stuff like that before. Schmodix, I've talked before about his pressing ability, and he showed that again yesterday. He's going to press, he's going to run. The guy's got legs for days. Like, he is constantly down that wing, up and down, like Norwich in the Premier League and Championship. Yes, I said that again. Yes, we really hate Norwich. But, he was, energy, effort, he leaves it all out on the pitch. And just, the instinctiveness just to try that little bicycle kick or whatever that was, it was quite low down. So other players might have tried to head it or try something else or whatever. But, he adjusted his body quickly and he gets the goal. But yeah, really impressive from Sammy Schmodic, a guy that's scored goals in National League, in League Two, in League One, in the Championship, and now scoring in the Premier League. And it's not just a fluke one goal here or whatever. He's now got 3 goals, hasn't he? So he scored in the home kit, he scored in the away kit, and he scored in the third kit. Like, he scored in all 3 kits. He scored in all the leagues. Like, when it comes to completing sets, that's kind of what Sammy Schmodix does. Starboy Amari, up there for man of the match for me. When you talk about, we talked before about that 10 role, maybe not, we haven't seen the best of him in the 10 role. But again, we've gone up a league and it's adjusting to the league and all the rest of it. But yesterday was not only his best performance of the season, but probably his most mature performance I've seen of him in a town shirt. And what I mean by that is, there was one particular instance where I think he breaks, I think he throws it through to Hurst. Hurst can't get the shot away. It comes back to Amari. And by this point, Tottenham have got like 4 or 5 defenders back or whatever. And instead of Amari thinking, okay, I'm going to try a shot here or just try and dribble my way through, he's like, no, I'm going to go to the corner flag. I'm going to go here. And he wins a foul. Or was it a throw-in? But he wins the ball either way. And, again, keeps possession for us. So, you talk about ball carriers in that 10 role. You talk about players that are going to run at people, all the rest of it. Amari was phenomenal. And like I said, up there for man of the match for me. Liam Delap, another player up there for man of the match. Like, he must be a defender's nightmare. Like, defenders, they don't see Freddy Krueger at night. They see Liam Delap in their nightmares. Like, he just runs at you and bruises you and then has the feet to just get past you. Again, like, I've said he can score all types of goals. We've seen where he'll take players on. We've seen him hit goals from distance and, brilliant shots. And now we've seen him bundle them in and, almost like a tap in almost. But he is, one of the best number nines at the moment in the Premier League. And he will be one of the best number nines in world football. Hurst, again, we know what Hurst offers. He's going to hassle defenders. He can make those runs. Like, it's going to be a long day for defenders, isn't it? Like, they're going to, if their legs ain't already tired, you're going to have to run a bit more now. Really good performance from him defensively as well. Wins things in the air on the last couple of corners, clears the lines as well. So solid from there. Right at the end, he takes an elbow to the face, I think, of one of their defenders or whatever. Nasty gash on his eye, which is why when the players are celebrating, he's not there. He comes over separate. Jack Clark, I thought he defended really well yesterday, making sure he was between the player and the ball, winning those free kicks. He was putting on his body on the line, so he was going to, right, I'm going to put myself here and I'm going to get kicked, but I don't care. I'm going to get a free kick from it. I'm going to make sure we don't lose this possession. Massimo, obviously, I think he come on like 90th minute, but he still had like 10 minutes of play anyway, didn't he? Again, the band was back together, him and Sammy. Solid, he's here, he's there, he's every fucking where. And, I think even he gets his foot on the ball, wins a couple of fouls, breaks up play in a few crucial areas as well. So, again, kept the level. The level hadn't dropped. So, really solid performance from Massimo. So in terms of man of the match, obviously we got three potentials that, really stood out in terms of, and everyone played to a T. Like, if I were giving them ratings on 1 to 10, no one gets below an 8.5, really, let's be honest. But the three that obviously, like I said, stood out with Delap, Amari, and Muric. So at third, it's going to sound harsh, but for me, it's Delap. So in their first 10 Premier League games, Michael Owen scored 3 goals. Alan Shearer, that bold fraud on Match of the Day, he scored 3 goals. Wayne Rooney, arguably one of the brightest and one of the best English strikers we've seen in our lifetime, in my lifetime anyway. Wayne Rooney in his first 10 Premier League starts scores 5 goals. Harry Kane, another arguably one of the greatest English strikers or whatever, in his first 10 Premier League starts, he scored 5 goals. And then at the top of the list, scoring 6 goals in their first 10 Premier League starts, is Liam Delap. So when I say to you, he's going to be a better Harry Kane, that's what I mean. So at number 2, in silver medal, maybe do medals, yeah. So bronze goes to Delap, silver medal goes to Starboy Amari Hutchinson. His best game of the season, the maturity in his play. When you talk about ball carrying, I've talked time and time again about the defensive side and how good he is at that in terms of winning fouls and also winning the ball back. And he showed that in abundance yesterday. And then just, what we know Amari can do, which is run at defenders, which is get us up that pitch. He takes us in an instant. He can take us from being on the back foot to the front foot. Like, I've called him Starboy ever since, and I'm not even being funny. I might have been the first one to call him Starboy. I'm pretty sure I was, right? But I've been calling him that for a reason, and he's shining. And we're in November. We've got our first win, and he's gonna get better and better and better. So then, man of the match, it's the man, it's the brick wall, it's Mr. Ario Muric. His best game in the Town Top. And I know people will say, well, Brighton away, he got a clean sheet, made phenomenal saves and all the rest of it. Yes, he did. But he did that at Tottenham as well. You talk about reaction saves. You talk about commanding your area. You talk about distribution, which I thought was a lot better. Accuracy on the passing dropped slightly from the last few games, but you're playing a team that's going to be very much in your face, and you're not got time on the ball. So, that can be expected. Again, we talk about confidence and confidence players, and that's what he is. And makes a good saves. Maybe showing a bit more for the ball, maybe a bit more confident on it to do the 1-2 or whatever. But yeah, Ariel Muric, I would take my hat off, but I ain't had a trim. But yeah, he is the man of the match. He gets the gold. He gets the gold medal. He's number one on the podium. So yeah, man, hopefully you enjoyed that. You guys had said to me before you wanted a bit more detail, so hopefully this is that. I will be doing a Man United preview on the week of the game. That'll probably come out the Thursday before the game. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and turn the notifications on. And I'll catch you all next time, peeps.